Hey guys, this is Kim back with a really quick video, and I honestly just decided to make this video on a whim because I wasn't planning anything audio visual thing today, but I just decided to make one because I was something really exciting that I wanted to share with you. So I have a couple things I wanted to say. I was sort of doing like a mini outline in my head before I started filming. But basically I just wanted to start by telling you that I started drawing. I don't know if you noticed, I started including little doodles on my videos, like previews and sometimes during the video, and I always have a little, my mascot with me now. His name is Fables. If you didn't notice, he's been around, like in this corner. He's gonna be here right now when I edit. I'm gonna put him here. His name is Fables. He is the den mascot, and he likes to interact with people and socialize. And got a few other spirit animals. Fables sent too. They're on my Facebook. Oh no, not my Facebook. They are on my Facebook, and they're also on my Instagram. I'm gonna write a blog post about them soon. So just like little quirky illustrations that I've made. Little characters that I created. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is I started drawing, and it's been such an adventure so far. So I don't know if I mentioned this in my previous videos, I totally forgot, but for the International Tarot Day, I collaborated with a bunch of artists around the world, and we got together and created this tarot deck. And from then, it kind of rekindled my interest and passion to drawing and doodling things, and that sort of just, I embarked on just this grand adventure of drawing and illustrating and discovering that I could actually draw. I could actually pursue this as something that I love to do and something that I could, I could continue to create with illustrating and everything. And it was just such a cool thing to discover about myself, because the premise of that story is I never really believed that I was talented enough, and I'm pretty sure this is a story that a lot of us tell ourselves when it comes to creating or our creative work. So I just want to talk about that today, and then I'm also gonna, it's kind of like have motivational, have vlog, have just me like being super excited. But I basically just wanted to make this video to let you know that if you want to pursue something, if you want to develop a skill, there really is no excuse to not do it, because number one, it's going to be something that you love if you're drawn to it. Number two, there are just so many available resources online for free, and you can learn anything on YouTube, honestly. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the first thing I want to talk about is this I have no talent myth. So I think usually, I think the first thing I want to say about that is usually we look at someone's success and we would say like, oh my god, this person is so talented, and we sort of ignore the part of their story where they worked hard or where they practiced, where they failed. So it's pretty typical with success stories. We tend to only look at the story about their success, and we forget to look at the entire narrative in which they they struggle and they fought for it, and then they trial and error, that kind of thing. So I feel like that's the first thing we usually attack ourselves with when it comes to oh, I have no talent, is when we see the success of others, we kind of feel like, oh, you got to have talent for this kind of thing. You just have to be good at this, naturally good at this to succeed. Not true. I think when it comes to talent, I definitely believe that we're all sort of programmed, or, well, not programmed, that sounds really automatic or mechanical, but I think it's written in our DNA that we're drawn to certain things, that there are certain skills that we want to develop in this particular lifetime, and we will be drawn to those things. And I think it's okay to say oh, I'm just not good at something, and but I feel like that's different than going through something looking at something that you want to pursue and telling yourself that you're not good enough because that's why you feel, or that's how letting your fear hold you back. Or I guess it's a complicated issue, I don't want to simplify it here, but what I mean is it's okay to recognize that there are certain things that you probably won't be super good at. And I don't mean in a defeatist way, because for me, okay, for example, I wouldn't say I'm terrible at math, because I feel like if I really worked hard at it, I could get really good. But it's just not something that brings me pleasure, and pursuing it, even if I get good at it through practice and repetition, is just gonna kill me slowly on the inside. So math is not for me. So that's one thing. There are things that I feel like we can surely say, okay, this is not for me. This doesn't bring me any happiness. I don't enjoy this. I don't particularly need it to survive in this lifetime. So, calculators, right? So there's that. And there's also things that kind of like, you feel like there's like, I guess, a natural limitation to it, but it's not something negatively limiting. For example, like when it comes to singing, I know that just because the way my vocal cord is built, I will never be able to hit some of the high notes that some people are able to hit, but that doesn't make me feel negative about my singing. And I guess in a way it's because I'm not considering pursuing singing as a career. I just want to be decent in a karaoke. So I feel like there's that. I think it's just part of recognizing what you're what you're drawn to, what you're not drawn to, what you want to pursue in life, and then what you're kind of okay with not being super like maxed out on a level in certain skills. And so I feel like part of it is about recognizing yourself for who you are, recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, understanding yourself, knowing what you like and what you don't like, knowing what you want in life. So there's that. But I feel like it's not coming from a place where, oh, I feel like I'm never going to be good at this, so I'm going to give up. So I feel like that's a different thing, because that was the thing with me with drawing. I never gave up per se. I just never thought I was good enough to pursue something professional or something. It wasn't ever going to turn into something like legit. The word legit. It wasn't going to turn into something legit. So that was what I thought. I just thought that I didn't think I was terrible, I didn't think I completely sucked, but I just feel like there are people who were more talented than me, and then they were more skilled, and they were professionals, and I would just doodle on the side from time to time, and then my doodles are really cute. I would never draw anything substantial, anything that's worthy of attention, anything that's worthy of praise, and that kind of thing. So I thought that for years, for the past decade or more than a decade, pretty much my whole life. I never thought it was a thing. I always thought that writing was my thing. I always thought like, my imagination is my thing and storytelling is my thing, and it's something I consciously recognized. So drawing was never really part of my narrative as a creative person. It was never something that I thought I would actually create with on a consistent basis. I would just kind of get into like a phase where I would draw a bit, and I would draw like a few cute comics, and that was it. But like I said, it's been such an adventure. I really started drawing, and once I got through the fear or the dread of like, oh my god, I cannot draw hands, or oh my god, I can't get the proportions right, oh my god, I cannot draw flowers, that kind of thing. Once I got through that, once I realized that there's so much out there for me to grab, there's so much out there for me to learn, for me to level up, for me to practice, it's like, I was just like, oh my god, I feel so excited about embarking on this adventure, because I instead of seeing like what I lacked, I started to see how much I'm able to gain. And when it comes to that, I feel like there's also this attitude about like, oh, it's too late to start, or I guess the cliche quote would be like, it's never too late to start, and I second that quote. It's true. But I think it's just like, I think there's just certain timing for things, I think there's certain times in your life where you feel like there's a part of you missing, or there's a part of you that you haven't discovered yet. There's something that you've been waiting for, and then I feel like when the timing is right, and when you also meet that timing, that divine timing halfway, when you answer that calling, that's when magic happens. And that's really like magic happened for me, because I feel like I was over, like, honestly, when I heard that calling, I guess, it make it like a spiritual mystical thing. When I kind of had the opportunity to showcase my art, I'm gonna try to sit here so you can see me. When I had the opportunity to showcase my art, or I was just like, oh my god, what if I sucked? What if I completely sucked? What if, like, how am I supposed to compete with all the other professionals, some of the professional artists in the group? Like, I would never be able to create something that's as good as what they would create. But once I got over it, I was just like, I'll just do the best that I can. I don't suck, I'm not terrible, so that's fine. And then this is just like this is just about my contribution and my own creative process and my joy, that kind of thing. But once I started, and it's just once your whole mentality switches, it's just different, and I think it's always like, and then art, when it comes to art, it's just such a broad, it's just so much potential. You think that you can draw something, but there's also like, okay, maybe that may be true. Maybe you can't. For me, like, I can't draw a really realistic sketch on my laptop or something. But I mean, I'm pretty sure I could if I practiced, but even just within the field of art, even just within illustrating, even just within doodling, there's just so much you can create. There's so many different styles. There's so many different things that could represent you and reflect you as an artist. And it's just so stupid to think that, oh, I can't do this one thing, therefore I am bad, or therefore I can't be an artist, or therefore I can draw. It's just so... now that I'm on the other side, it's just such a silly thing to think, because you're holding yourself back so much. Like, they're just if you, okay, yeah, you know, there's this one thing you can't draw. Like, number one, get a YouTube tutorial and learn how to draw it. And then you might feel like, oh, I can't draw this, I need a reference to draw. But after a few references, you don't need references anymore. You can just draw it. And number two, it's like, okay, I can't draw this, but what about these other million things I could draw? There's just so much out there. You shouldn't tell yourself like you're not talented, you can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, list all the things that you can't do. And then just think about how big this world is. Just think about how much art has to offer, how much your spirit has to offer, how much your creativity has to offer. Your creativity trumps all the things that you can't do, or you think you can't do. So that's one thing. Honestly, it's just about perspective. Like, you shouldn't hold yourself back. Even if you feel like you suck right now, a lot of artists online are comparing their artwork from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and that it's just so different, like art, or with any kind of art or craft. It's a journey of a lifetime. It's about how committed you are, how much you practice. It's about how you have a relationship with your art, and it's just about that. If you feel like you're not talented, you are not doing anything, then you're not doing anything. It's not even about like you think that you're not talented. It's just that you're not investing any time and energy. You're not carving out the space time for yourself to develop that talent or skill or art. So there's just so much out there. Don't get stuck in this mentality that, oh, there's not enough for me, I'm not enough. Just think about it this way. It's like there's so much more to gain. Like, there's just so much more about yourself that you have yet to discover, and you may think that it's late, but it's better late than never, right? It's like, in everything, I feel like everything has its timing, like I said before. It's like, if you're feeling this way right now, that means your time has come. Your timing is right. You should go for it, one day at a time, right? Instead of just telling yourself, oh, I suck, just draw something today. Just do a little bit of something today. And if you suck, like, say you can't draw a flower for shit, just draw it for 10 days and you'll get better. It's like you're only competing against yourself. Like, if you think you're a loser, then you lost already. It's like, I don't know if you know the anime Attack on Titan. There's this quote from the anime. It's a really intense anime. It's about giants eating people and then people fighting giants with gears. So there's a quote, and it says that if you don't fight, then you lose. But if you fight, you have a chance to win. But I would say, like, in the pursuit of art and creativity, if you think you lose, then you've lost. You're not even playing the game. You're not even, like, you haven't even started. But once you start, you can only win from there, because you can only get better, right? You can only level up. Honestly, life is about leveling up. It's like, if you feel like you're going nowhere, level up. If you feel like you're not creating good art, make good art. If you think you're not talented, then develop some talent. Like, hone your skills, practice. Like, tell yourself that you're worth this. Like, tell yourself that this is what you're born for, and you can do it. You can just like, there's so much more in you already, and then it's like you can just add this one more thing to your life's profile. Like, you just, like, life is about becoming more, and then even if you think you don't have enough right now, you're just gonna become more if you allow yourself to be. Okay, so pep talk over. I just wanted to share with you some of the useful resources that I came across when it comes to developing a skill. So this one's mostly for drawing, but I'm pretty sure you can apply this to any kind of art or types of art. So the first thing is, if you want to learn something, YouTube. YouTube is amazing. Honestly, so many generous spirits out there posting free tutorials, resources on their channels, and then you can also get to know their personality. It's just great. Like when it comes to drawing, my favorite channel right now is Draw with Jazza, and he's just honestly so amazing, so creative. And he showed, I remember one of his videos, he showed like an artwork that he did in high school or something. It was just like, just so different from what he's doing now, and then the only reason was because he persisted, and then he just decided to go for his passion and stuff. So honestly, there's no reason for you to hold back. Like if you feel like, oh, I can't afford a class, or I can, find resources that will allow me to do what I want to do. YouTube, it's all free. You really have no excuse, So go on YouTube. YouTube has so many good resources, and from YouTube, you will also find a bunch of other resources. Honestly, it's like, I didn't know what to buy for pens, so I just went on YouTube, or I just went on Amazon and read all the comments and reviews for like different brands of pens, and I just experimented. There's just so many free resources out there online, and there's no excuse for you to say I can't find any resources to start. So there's always a place to start. And number two, another resource is really to have do a challenge. Challenges are so fun, and especially when you find someone to do the challenge with you. For example, I'm just doing this with myself, for myself. I have this 100-day challenge or doodle challenge where I want to doodle something every single day, at least one thing. It could just even be a stick man, but I want to draw one thing every day, and I want to try to draw like different thing each day, so I will learn how to draw. Honestly, internet is your teacher. You have no excuse now to develop your talent. Like, just get out. If you have Wi-Fi, then you're good to go. Honestly, free tutorials, and if you want a more professional, like structured curriculum, there's like courses online that you can find. There's just so much community, like and you have no excuse. Okay, like honestly, if you want to do something, go ahead and do it. It's like the world, like the internet supports you. The internet is abundant. Google is abundant. I'm telling you, there is no excuse. You should just go ahead and do it, and amazing things happen. I don't know why I did it with that voice, but anyway, I was saying, internet is a good resource. YouTube is a good resource. Doing challenges is a good way to get started, because especially if you find somebody who would do that with you, and then you would get like a challenge buddy or something. But challenges is great. I'm doing a 100-day challenge. It's kind of like a long-term challenge, but it's not too long. It's not like a year long. Sometimes you just lose drive or you forget to record something, but 100 days is about like just over 3 months, so it's not too bad. It's like a season, so it's manageable. It's like longish, but not long enough to drive you crazy or long enough for you to forget. And it's just like you record. It's just such an amazing thing to, if you're, especially when you're drawing or creating, you would see the progress. Like I could just look at the stuff I drew from day 1 and the stuff I drew from day 6. They were already different because I was consciously trying to improve on certain things. Like I didn't know how to draw humans very well, so I just worked on drawing little cute humans for 3 and 4 days, and there was already a difference. Honestly, like you just gotta start. You just gotta start somewhere, and then even if you just do one day and you forget for a week, just keep doing it after that week. Just keep doing something. Just keep doing it, and just start somewhere. The 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That quote exists for a reason. You just gotta start. You just gotta make that journey. Otherwise, you're just on the same spot. So, gotta move. So that's the second thing. And the third thing I wanted to talk about, which was what? It's the magic that happens, which I already mentioned, but it's the magic that happens when you start to experiment. Sometimes like you would struggle with certain things, and like with art, like I was just like trying to draw something. I was like, there was this special like method that you can use to reference how big you want your characters to be and how you can sort of make sure your head, like the head of the person, is proportional with the rest of the body. And I'm just talking about chibi characters, by the way. I still can't draw realistic people, but it's I will. I can't do the eyebrow thing. Oh my god. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you, like, honestly, the best feeling in the world is when you realize you can do something, and then you realize that there's so much more that you can do, you can eventually do, and that's something to be excited about, you know? And also the magic of discovering something about yourself that you didn't know before. And I don't know about you, and then if you're on a spiritual path, I feel like this should be something that's just absolutely amazing, because I just feel like life is a never-ending story, and you know your story, you worked with your stories, you've ever done shadow work, and then you know your narrative, you know who you are, and then there's just still so much more to learn. Like, this is why I believe that if you're a human being, there's just no, like, stopping point. Like, there's no point where you get to and you're just like, I'm done, I've learned all the lessons. I feel like that in itself is a lesson. If you think you've learned all the lessons, that is the lesson that you gotta learn. There's no, it's a never-ending story. It's like, if you learn all the lessons, you're probably not a human anymore. You probably reached the nirvana or enlightenment, and you probably you have left the space-time because you don't, you know, I feel like if that happens, it's just like your reality, you don't need to be a physical person anymore. You would just like transcend. But since you're still here and you're still in the flesh, there's still more to learn. And then this is when I define my Buddhist and Taoist teachings. I don't think life is about suffering. I mean, it is defined by suffering from time to time, but it's about becoming more. It's about becoming more. It's about allowing your spirit to embody your spirit more and more. It's like, the more you listen to your spirit, the more you develop, the more you just create. It's just like, oh, there's just so much more. You're just getting, like, your heart gets bigger and warmer, and everything's just awesome, and you just more synchronicity, more generosity and luck, and it's just like, just pure manifestation. You know what I mean? Just like creativity is manifestation. It's like when you're just bringing pure that stuff of your essence of your spirit out, just in the straight line. When you have that channel, like, life is just wonderful. And I feel like that's part of discovering a talent and developing your talent. It's like, if you feel like you have a calling for this, if you feel like constantly drawn to something, and you feel like if you're always having a dialogue, like, I'm not good enough, it's like, it's important enough for you to keep considering it. So stop, like, shitting on yourself and stop telling yourself that you're not good enough, because even if you're not good enough right now, you can be good enough in the future, because that's just how things work. It's like, things want to thrive. We want to thrive. Things want to thrive. And so do you, and so does your talent. So get out there and create something, and stop telling yourself that you're not good enough, because you are. Even if you're not, you will be. It's all about the mentality. You gotta start that journey, and only you can do that. So you gotta do that for yourself, because nobody else can do that for you. Okay, I'm pretty high. on tea. Tea is really good. Okay, so anyhow, that's it, and that's all I wanted to say. Sorry, I just ended abruptly. I feel like, yeah. Anyhow, so before I close, I just wanted to let you know that you should come join us on Tarot Nerds Facebook. It's a study group on Facebook. It's really awesome there. It's a non-bigotry, non-troll, non-dissing place. It's really great. I'm one of the mods there, and then we try to keep everything super diverse and super friendly and supportive and that kind of stuff. So you should come join us. And also, 2 days ago was International Tarot Day, and I hope you had a great time on Saturday. Hope you celebrated Tarot Day. And for me, on Tarot Day, I did this thing. I kind of ran the virtual booth on Tarot Nerds, and then I was kind of doing, it was called the Tarot Spread Machine, and I love spread creation, so I just invited people to pitch me ideas and suggestions and themes, and I just turned them into spreads. Originally, I just thought that I would, like, probably just type them out or something, but I ended up, like, just drawing cute doodles alongside, and then it was great. And then, yeah, I created like 32 spreads or 33 spreads within a span of 2 days, And that was amazing. That was one of the coolest things I've ever done, because like people received it so well, and I was so happy that I got to share my joy of spread creation with others. It just turned out so awesome. Like I just thought it would be a fun thing to do, but it just turned out to be one of the best things I've ever done. And potential spread collection book for me in the future. I don't know yet. Still thinking about it. Just so many things I want to create and just give to the world. And then honestly, like, that's one of the frustrations that I have, is like I have so many things I want to do. I just get frustrated that I can't do them all at once. Wish I have 8 hands like the spider demon in Journey of the West. Literally just 8 hands, drawing, writing, all at the same time, but then I would probably need multiple brains for that. So maybe not the best. I'm not really good at multitasking. I need to focus on one thing. But yeah, anyway, hopefully you're inspired by this video. Honestly, if you want to do something, just go for it. You don't need any reason. You don't need some kind of divine manifestation of a sign. You don't need to wait for synchronicity. Honestly, just make your own synchronicity. It's like, oh hey, I woke up this morning and then the curtain was open, and therefore open opportunities or something. Just make something up. Honestly, you don't need any reason to start. You don't need anyone to tell you to just start. Just give yourself the permission to start. Just fucking start. Yeah, just fucking start. Honestly, just fucking go for it. That's all you have to do when you want to pursue something. Like if you want to be a tarot reader, even if you just keep like starting, quitting. I did that, and then look, I'm but here I am. I just one day I am just like, it's time to just keep doing it and not stop now. So there's always that. You don't need any reason. You don't need to explain to the world how you're doing things. You don't need to fit into certain narrative. You don't need to like display certain traits to become certain archetype or become certain type of people. You just gotta be you, and you just do what you want. You do what the fucking thing that you my story got fucked up. You do whatever the fuck you want is what I meant. Okay, so until next time, stay awesome and keep calm and tarot on. Be the hero of your own story, la-di-da. And I'm gonna say it again. Do whatever the fuck you want. You can and you will. Alright. See you guys. Bye.